Hey guys, welcome back to another one of my videos. I'm Kevin D. I just posted yesterday with my concerns of my shed solar system here. I'm going to take you through the troubleshooting that I've done so far. So I've disconnected 3 of the 4 panels. I am currently only using 1 panel right now because I'm trying to troubleshoot what's going on here. I had the PV wire laying across the ground here all winter. And we had a major flood that came in, and it came all the way up to here. This is a city creek back here. It's basically a runoff ditch, but it flooded all the way up into here, and these PV wires were saturated in the ground. When I pulled them up, they were actually kind of halfway buried in the grass. But I pulled them up and disconnected them, and I disconnected them. I could not see any water inside of the PV wires. I followed them all the way down. Excuse me. This is a 100-foot strand here. I followed them all the way down. They come up over here. You can tell they've been out here for a while because the leaves have actually covered them up. Right here is some more PV wires, and I have those with black electrical tape. I'm not saying that that's making them waterproof, but if anything helps. Then it comes up over here to the mess. I had this all looking nice, but I think the dogs knocked it down. And so it's just one strand of wire from there to there. And I should probably just disconnect it and just make it one complete strand all together. And that way I'm not having any interruptions in the lines here, any connections in the line. Let's walk back into the shop here. Well, let's walk into the shop. And as of yesterday, I was having issues. Hey everybody, I'm going to jump in here and try to do a better job of explaining everything. If you had watched my last video in my short, I believe I mentioned in my short also, all I did in November was disconnect the battery. And I did so because I'd walked up to the shop and the lights wouldn't come on, nothing was working in the shop, and that was because the BMS had shut off because it got too cold. And that's what the BMS is designed to do. Once it gets to a certain temperature, it just stops working to protect the battery. So I had taken the battery out and put it in my garage all winter, and I just left it sit there. And last week, I decided to get the system up and running because I knew it was going to be in the 70s this week here in Tennessee. And I said, well, it's a good time to get the system going again. Plus, I had a subscriber hit me up and ask me if I was going to make any more videos about this. So I brought the battery back out to the shop and I hooked it up, turned everything on, switched the circuit breakers, I should say, and I wasn't getting any juice from the charge controller to the battery. Something was going on there. Something was funky. I couldn't explain it. I had diagnosed a problem all the way to the solar panels, and I come all the way into the shop, and I was getting juice to the charge controller, but nothing was being produced from the charge controller to the battery. Here in a second, I'll show you the battery monitor, and you can see that the battery's charged. I believe it's at 13.2, 13.1 volts, but it was saying 0 amp hours and showing a 0 state of charge basically. And right here where my hand's at, I'm just showing that I'm touching all the wires, making sure everything's tightened up. There's nothing loose. And I don't know what would have made anything loose. I'm the only one that goes in that shop. Maybe a magic little mouse went in there, or where they have those trolls. What was those little trolls that used to build the shoes at night in that one book back in the day, a Disney show? I can't remember it now. The guy would go to bed and he'd wake up and the shoes would be made. Maybe that's what happened here. I couldn't explain anything. I couldn't explain why I wasn't getting any power from the charge controller to the battery. It was blowing my mind. I called my brother up, who's a maintenance technician. He was trying to help me troubleshoot a few things. But I should have showed the app, the Victron charge controller app. Victron has a great app, and it works great. I didn't show that, and if I would have shown that, you would have seen that I was getting voltage to the charge controller, but there was no wattage coming out of the charge controller to the battery. I thought maybe the circuit breaker in between the charge controller and the battery was bad. That wasn't bad. I tested it with the ohms meter and it was working just fine. I even tripped it a couple times off video, and I could not for the life of me figure out what was going on. So I was talking to a friend of mine He's got a solar system also. He and I can come to the conclusion that it was just the charge controller. Somehow or another, that charge controller got zapped. Something happened to it during the flood. I can't explain it, guys. I disconnected the MC4 connectors out there on the solar PV wire, and they were dry as a bone. There was no water, and I couldn't see any water intrusion or anything like that. But something happened. Something had to have happened from the solar panels to that charge controller, because you got to remember, I left that circuit breaker open. Here I go right here. I'm showing the battery. That's the battery monitor. If you look in the left-hand corner, it shows 13.3 volts. That's what the battery's charged at right now. But I was getting 0 amp hours and 0%. And that works with the charge controller through the shunt over there on the right-hand side, about halfway down, a little plastic thing with yellow on it. And when all that's working well, it shows what it's supposed to show as the reading of the battery. So I could not figure this all out, and later on I'll show you that I bought another charge controller, and I basically disconnected this charge controller and hooked up a new charge controller. I was still having similar issues, but I reconnected everything. I completely took everything apart and reconnected everything, and you'll see the results later on in the video. Now what I'm doing here is basically explaining my thought process as to why I'm about to change the charge controller out. I didn't mention my friend that I talked to, but I owe him a big shout out. He asked me not to say anything about him, but he knows who he is, and he'll watch this video sometime or another. But I end up changing this charge controller out here in another couple of minutes, and I was just trying to explain my rationale of why I did so and what conclusion I came to, and I've already explained that. I was basically getting voltage all the way up to the charge controller, but I wasn't getting anything from the charge controller to the battery. I do a terrible job of showing my troubleshooting techniques to get there. I just do a lot of talking and not enough showing and explaining. So guys, I'm about to just open up the new charge controller I got from Amazon. Luckily they sent it overnight, and we'll continue on from there. Thank you. So here we are. Pull out my good old Benchmade. Open this box up, and hopefully it's for me. It is. Oh, it's a charge controller. It is. So we got a brand new Victron charge controller. The exact same one that I have up there now. It's the 150/35. Oh, it's got a 5-year warranty. I wonder if I can send that one back in and get my money back. I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh, it's got a book this time. This is what they sent me before. It was just like a little card type thing. So I actually got a book this time. That might help me out. And yeah, that's nice. So here we are. It's the 150/35, exactly what I have now. Bulk absorption float. It's got the nice cooling fins on the back of it. It's got the Bluetooth port right there. Yeah, looks exactly the same. So I'm gonna hook this thing up and go from there, and we'll see how it works out for us. I'll bring you guys right back. Okay guys, okay, I got it hooked back up. Here's the old one sitting here. You can tell it's the old one's got the sticker still on it. I got the Bluetooth dongle hooked back up to it, and moment of truth. Fingers. I'm scared to flip the switch, guys. I'll be honest with you. I'm scared to flip that circuit breaker. I am scared to do it because I don't know what else it could have been. So the bulk. Hey guys, I got a little excited here because I thought I had fixed the problem, but in reality I didn't. If you notice that circuit breaker right below the charge controller, it's in off position. I just seen that the charge controller was reading bulk state of charge, meaning it was receiving 100% of the power from the solar panel through the charge controller and charging the battery. But it obviously can't be working like that because the charge controller was off. I feel a little foolish. It is kind of funny now that I'm looking back at it. But once again, my mind just wasn't in the right state here. I just couldn't figure out what was going on with the system, why it was doing what it was doing. And even here, I have the app open down on my phone. You can't see it, of course, and I should have shown it. And at the time, I didn't know how to record off my phone either, other than just using the camera. But now I know how I can record a screenshot off my phone and go from there. But I'm just messing with the wires here, and I'm about to quit for the day, but I'm going to take the owner's manual inside and actually read everything about the Victron charge controller. Hey everybody, it's been overnight. I was trying to sit down and think about what I could do to try to get the system working properly, and I still can't figure it out. So what I did do was come out here and I said, well, if I hook up the Blue Eddy to the incoming PV wires, the solar wires, and make sure that from where I'm sitting at to the solar panels is completely good. I know we tested the solar panel, it was good, and I did a continuity check on the wires, on the PV wires, and that was good. And now I brought in the Blue Eddy. I hooked it up, and as you can tell, it's got 10 watts coming in. I mean, it's not the brightest day outside. It's supposed to be a little cloudy and gloomy out there. Well, the sun just popped out, so yeah, it is what it is. I see my dog found my paper plate that I left out here. But guys, I am so confused. As soon as I disconnect this Blue Eddy and I hook up the Victron charge controller, there's no wattage. I got the app on my phone and there's absolutely no wattage. It shows volts. The battery monitor is showing 0.00%. I've unplugged everything, plugged everything back in. I don't know what else to try. I read the instruction manual on the Victron charge controller. I changed the little dongle at the bottom. I turned it to 7 like it's supposed to be for Life P04 batteries. This is a brand new Victron charge controller. I mean, I don't know. I do not know what else to try. I am baffled. I guess what I'm gonna start doing is just doing a continuity check, checking everything out, making sure I got continuity through all the things, using the ohms on the meter, just starting from here, working my way down to the battery, everything like that, and I'll bring you guys back. I rechecked the wiring for the shunt. It's correct. Heck, I even labeled the battery monitor so I can remember everything that it does. The battery monitor is showing 13.3 volts, which I just tested the battery and it's exactly at 13.3 volts, so I know that's working correctly. The power's on to the Victron from the battery. I mean, something would have to be working properly, because when the power's coming in from over here and it's going to the Victron lights up, it gives me a reading, lets me know that juice is flowing to it. And you know, if you turn this on, I thought maybe the Victron would be coming on too, but I guess not, because I don't know why. But I guess the battery, it doesn't work that way. It just sends juice out, doesn't take juice up. But then how would it read the battery? In the app it shows the battery voltage. I don't know. I'm gonna take this hot wire off. I'm gonna test this circuit breaker, and yeah, I'm just gonna go through everything, check all the continuity and everything, and I'll be back, guys. Okay guys, for you it's only been a couple seconds, not even a second probably, but for me it's been like 30-45 minutes. I even called somebody for help and that person was no help. But I did install a bus bar. I've had it sitting in here for a long time. I've been meaning to install it, but I really don't think I needed it because I don't have a big system here. Well, I'll show you what I did. So for starters, I went ahead and took these back off and reinstalled them. I reinstalled this, everything. I took it all apart. Took this off, took the circuit breaker off. Yeah, it's in there good. It does move a little bit, but it's in there good. Reran the wires. So I took the charge controller, positive. It's still going through the circuit breaker, down here to the bus bar. And then the battery's connected to the bus bar there. The battery monitor is connected to the bus bar, and then the power inverter is connected to the bus bar here. Here's the circuit breaker for the power inverter. Look at this, guys. I'm still getting 0.0 amp hours at 0%. I took everything off the shunt here and redone it. I unplugged everything, plugged it back in, tightened everything back down. So, fingers crossed. Maybe I just had a loose wire. I don't know. So here we go. Turn it back on. We got bulk. That's how it usually starts up. Here goes the absorption. Now, let's see what the app's going to show me here. The Victron charge controller is showing that the battery is at 14.2 volts. I have 82 watts coming in, but I have 82 volts coming in, but I have 0 watts. I don't understand, guys. I truly am so unbelievably baffled at all this. I don't know. I just this is a look of confusion. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't have the circuit breaker on for the battery. Oh, holy cow. I got 18 watts, 17 watts, 15, 29. Guys, I fixed it. I don't know how I fixed it. I fixed it. Evidently, taking everything apart and putting it back together worked. Adding the bus bar worked. I don't know, but I'm happy as a pig in poop. I can dance right now. Woo! I don't know. My battery monitor's still not working right. Well, it's got some arrows on it now. I don't know if they were on there before or not. See the arrows? I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll try to get you as close as possible. It's showing 13.3 volts, which that's the battery. The present current is at 4. Hey guys, I'll come back to interject here, and I wish I would have noticed sooner that I had that circuit breaker tripped. Well, it was in the off position, and I didn't have it turned back on, but I slowly learned my lesson here, and it was just another mistake that I had made because I was just getting frustrated with this. And when you get frustrated with stuff, sometimes you just got to walk away. And that's why I left overnight, and I came back the next day. And I'm going through the manuals here, and I'm showing the battery monitor, what's going on with it. It's basically just whatever it's the displays. And I'm going to blow that picture up and put it side by side of the battery monitor. That way in the future, when I'm making a video, if I don't say, hey, this is 50 amps and this is what the state of charge is, or how many volts is coming in or something like that, it'd be self-explanatory. You can pause the video and you'll be able to see for yourself because I'll have a side-by-side comparison. And when I say I went through every manual, I went through that charge converter, I went through the actual inverter manual, which wasn't much to it. I went through that shunt and battery monitor manual. I read it all last night, and I read some more of it this morning just to try to figure out what was going on with it. And like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but if you ever talk to an IT guy, a computer guy, and you explain to the person, or you explain to the person that you're having computer issues, and the first thing they say to you is, "Did you restart your computer?" And you kind of look at them and say, "Well, no, I haven't." I believe that's what I did here. Was I did a hard restart. I'm still pointing my finger at that charge controller. I still believe the old one was messed up somehow or another. Uh, if it wasn't, it wasn't. If it was, it was. And it's working now, and I'm happy. Everything on is on out there in the shed. I have the television on. It's always muted. It's playing YouTube videos. I use it for referencing stuff all the time. And I got my stereo playing out there. The battery was at 100%, and the charge controller was floating. And you can see today's Bible verse. Guys, I'm a Christian. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And if I can pass that on to people, I really like doing so. But once again, may you guys all be blessed. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, may God be with you all. Bye.